Today is World Food Day. It is set aside by the United Nations Organization sometime around 1945 when the United Nations Organization came up. Now, World Food Day, as at 16 on the 16th of October of every year, is to commemorate the founding of World Food Day, many years ago by the United Nations. And of course, on this day, nations of the world look inward to see how they can combat issues relating to availability of food in their country. Now, while other nations of the world talk about malnutrition, Nigeria, seems to be talking about hunger. Hunger in the sense that there's no available food availability is somehow an issue in Nigeria. Now, the big question is, can we really have a situation whereby we can have food in abundance? This morning, we are also privileged to be joined by a former permanent secretary, Minister of Agriculture in Edo State. I'm talking about Bashir Kadiri, who is joining us virtually from Abuja. Sir, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother. How are you doing today?
Okay. All right, so today is World Food Day, and like what I said, that the responsibility of nations around the world today is to look inward and see how they can make food to be available to their citizens. So here in Nigeria, the big question, looking at the areas of problems here and there, do you think it's possible for us to have a hunger-free Nigeria?
Well, let me thank you very much. I know you've bring me on board. Incidentally, I don't like lamentation. I listened to you carefully when you began your presentation on this whole story of 100 years for Nigeria to come out of the woods and all of that. For me, I think that is simply the Brethren Woods concept. The Brethren Woods believe that the average African people have been trapped. They continue to remain, what do you call it now, food dependency. And I think that is a very dangerous projection. First of all, to suggest that 100 years is required to come out of this kind of jam is to suggest that the human beings in that system will just collapse. So I don't think that was modest enough for a World Bank organization or a world organization to talk the way they spoke. However, that is just for their own opinion. But I think very clearly that the issue of food insecurity in Nigeria is a function of our mindset. It's our mindset problem. And I think we needed to change that mindset. Dependency on anybody to supply you food is a dangerous trend. The Nigerian society has been depending so much on foreign food. Every day you see people talking about foreign rice, foreign this. And in fact, to them, it's an ego display concept that I don't eat Nigerian food. I eat foreign rice. I eat foreign this. And that, of course, is what exposes us to all of these kind of vagaries, where people now shift to Nigeria, food that are almost finished in those countries, and they send them here. Food that have expired, they send them here. If you watch carefully what has happened in the rice world for some time now, from my experience, you can imagine that rice traders decide to carry expired food items, rice, and then go and clean up the rice, remove the mold in the rice, and then now start selling the rice to our people here because of this mentality of anything foreign is superior, anything foreign is a class, which is not true. Now, the second thing I want to mention is that, yes, we are currently at the point we are now in our food situation, but it does not close the door that we cannot come out of it. For me, I think we have a lot of potentials to come out of this whole wood. Great potentials. There's nowhere in Nigeria that you don't have a arable land that can give you crops. There's nowhere in Nigeria. Every part of Nigeria have particular commodity that they have a comparative advantage if well exploited. So for me, I think it's not time for lamentation. It is time for us to sit back and think of what do we do from the local to the top. Because, for instance, I don't see why local government cannot be involved in agriculture. I don't see why. I don't see why even what people cannot become in agriculture. I don't see why. I don't also see why everybody wants to say that it's either state or federal. No, everybody must be involved because every home requires food. Every child requires food. Every adult requires, everybody requires food. Food is a benchmark. It's a standard nobody falls below. No matter how rich you are, you need food to make you what you are. If you want to live in another person's world to say, okay, I'll be importing food to eat, then one day you know the trouble, and that's exactly where we are today. If we had continued with the trajectory, with the way we were going about our food production in Nigeria many years ago, we won't be where we are now. But we became too cosmetic. We became too cosmetic and unreal to consider that food is primary and we must produce. We think that money can give us. No, it's not money. It is your idea. Let us restructure our agri sector. The sector has suffered a great fate. First, one of the fates is that it was politicized. And in political arena, what they want, some of the political potential I see, I don't know others now, but some I see, some of them believe that the money for agriculture is a free gift. It's time for me to get my own money. So when loans are given and everybody takes the loan, a lot of them will not go and do agriculture. They will take the loan and do something else with the money. And then when you say pay back, they begin to look for who to go and ask to intervene for them. And all of these things accumulated to the point we are now. If we invest, which the federal government have done some work, put the money, properly speaking, in agriculture and not political favor or political hallelujah boys farmers. And when you say you want to do agriculture, many people who are not even agri experts, who don't even know anything about agri, who are not even farmers in the community, will become the owner of the loan. The real farmers will be put at the background. That's why we got to where we are. So for me, it's not lamentation. It's for us to now rejig our agricultural plan, because I know that Nigeria can come out of this wood even in the shortest possible time, so long as we do what we need to do. The two things we can do is, first, give it a budgetary position. Second, ensure that those people who are involved are real farmers. So you have to do a demography of farmers and know how many farmers in each ward. Each ward have farmers. Each local government have farmers. Those demography will be done in such a way that the real farmers are captured. And then, of course, the last item you must also do is that you must ensure that these farmers, when you capture them, you give them the quality material to plant. It is a first start. If you start at these fundamentals, then what you now have is that you need to build on it subsequently. Before you call Jack, we're already there in food sufficiency. Because for me, I know that we can get food sufficiency in a short while. I'm convinced about that. But so long as we do the needful in terms of removing political elements who have no business in that, and we direct the funds properly to sticking on agriculture, and then we are good to go. So I think that's my position. I don't lament. I know that we have a lot of potentials that we can harness in the shortest possible time. Other countries don't have what we have, and they look up to us. So we can be the biggest supplier of food items to the entire African continent. We can, and we have the potentials. They are quite much there. And other countries looking today are looking forward to see if Nigeria break it out, and then we'll be happy. Some even come here to look for how to import our food to their own countries. And here we are. We tell ourselves that importing food is the best thing that gives you ego. We suffered this because of our egocentric tendencies. Let's drop our ego. That the final thing is, my dear, before I stop, is that any country that have no food sovereignty, that country is in trouble. We need to have food sovereignty where we can have supply our food internal consumption. Because as I speak to you now, we're on food supply deficit. From oil palm to rice, to just mention them, we have deficits. And we can cover those deficits. What makes you a great country and a great man is how much your children can feed and feed well on a daily basis. That's what makes you a great country and a great man.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to pick you up from where you stopped. Now, you talked about food deficit. Now, I am grown enough in Nigeria today to really compare Nigeria of the yesterday and, of course, Nigeria of the today. Now, when I was growing up, I noticed that somehow, we had some of this food in abundance. But the way it stands now, Nigeria is battling with food availability. Now, what you have on the screen is food security. Other nations may be trying to look at how secure is their food. But Nigeria's case is different. We are battling with food availability. Now, the reason why Nigeria is battling is because these food are not available as they were. Now, we have issues around food, around security issues that, has brought us to where we are. Now, my question to you this morning, Bashir Kadir, is how do we go about the insecurity in our farmlands, in our bushes? A while ago, you talked about the need for Nigerians to go back to the farm and all that. But the bigger question and the bigger problem is that these lands and these bushes are not secured. So how do we go about this?
Now, thank you so much, Noge. But let me tell you, today in Nigeria, yes, we have food deficits. But are you aware that those who feed Nigeria today, even at the level of deficit, those who still give us food to eat, are from the north? Are you aware of that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm aware.
Yeah. Those the food today we eat today in the south in Nigeria today, about 80% of that food comes from the north. About 70, 80%. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. And which means that if you look at trailers coming to Benin, trailers of tomatoes, trailers of sweet potato, just mention them. They're always trooping from the north. What happens? They have the insecurity matter very seriously over there, but they supply us food. And the day they stop, the next thing you have anarchy in our land. So for me, I think is one of the issues that I need to be very clear here. We need to de-emphasize what makes us give us challenge, and emphasize those that gives us our courage and our future and our prosperity. Because here I discovered that every Nigerian always look for a reason to complain and to know why I'm not going to do X, Y, Z. Yes, security is an issue. Basically, well, everywhere in the world, security is a challenge. But I think very clearly that the capacity for you to stand is your courage as a person to say, I'm going to do this even in spite of all the odds. Let us begin to do something. Security, federal government must rise. We know that security everywhere today, everywhere in the world, and in Africa particularly, is not safe. But again, you cannot sit back and begin to lament why government is working. I hope that federal government will listen to this discussion, why they should work on and make security strong, but we should not anchor our not going to the farm. The fact that even when we can go to farm, we say we cannot go because of security. And it's not question of security, security, security. People still plant food, people still harvest food, people still eat food. And I tell you this, my dear, that if we remove the political elements, where when there are facilities given to farmers, they get to the farmers directly. They don't get to the political farmers. And you're going to see a big change. Now, I tell you this for free. One of the biggest economic challenge is when there is no food supply in the country. You can have all the technology and all of that. No food supply, you are in trouble. So for me, let all of us wake up. I am not, like I said earlier today, I don't believe in lamentation. You cannot be lamenting every day in your room. You are looking, somebody tell you that, oh, there's a security problem here. You see, you escalate it, and you are not even gone to the field yourself. You don't even know where the field look like. Everything you do every day, so find reason not to do what you want to do just because you find excuses to give. The Northerners who give us food to eat, are they not more security challenge? How many times you have the stories there? You heard the stories over there, but yet we still get supply of food. You see, have trailers coming to. I'm not sure, Hoge, you are not you tell me that you have not seen trailers coming from the north, even in recent times, carrying all kind of food. Is it not true? Both livestock and everything. Let we in the South wake up. We must rise and do what we need to do. All these stories that we are giving ourselves challenges. If we live as a people who sit down to look at our internal values and then look at our content, our local economics, we can take over. That's why I said the local government must rise. Local government must rise. Local government are simply at the head. I'm not even hearing them at all in this subject of agriculture. It's supposed to be the home of all agri sectors, where they have their own hands in the plow. But all you have is everybody lamenting and lamenting every day. I think this lamentation must stop. We must all wake up. All this story of passing buck, even when we're supposed to do our own small bits, we should do it. Those days in Benin and of course in Edo State, there's hardly any family you don't have farmers. But today, everybody you see, they say, I'm a politician, I'm a politician, I'm a politician. How will you get food when you are doing politician? How will you get food? We cannot continue in this way. All of us are doing big man. Nobody wants to go to farm. Everybody look for excuse. We claim the story that yes, insecurity is true, but like I said earlier, do you imagine that the Northerners, where this insecurity is even a serious challenge? Now, I think very clearly, that what we should do is that from the local government level, we should begin this project. From the local government that are the hosts of all of us, we should begin this program. We should be able to do what we call a demography of the farmers in the local government. And then let us know what is the farmland space, what is the quality of material of soil, and let us also know that this farm must be done with a speed that is currently challenging, because we need to do something quick or fast, if you like, to be able to arrest trend of food insecurity in our country. Now, if we get local government involved, and from there we go up to the states, we would have done so much more. Every local government have what we call crop of comparative advantage. What I'm saying now is just take a 6 months plan, 6 months plan, you will get your results. 6 months plan, so that by the time the next season is coming, you are already good to go. Because here you are. If we didn't have soil, quality soil, I could say, okay, that will take time for us to rejig our soil and bring them back and all of that. But we have so much quality soil to run. Every local government have crop of comparative advantage, from plantain to plantain and banana, to cassava, to cocoa, to rice. Every local government have its own comparative advantage. What we should do is emphasizing on the comparative advantage of that particular local government and prioritize the commodity and say, okay, local government A, you are good in rice. You have so much land, good rice planting concept. Local government, let's take off from this point. The other one, the other local government, you are good in cassava. The other local government, you are good in, you have priority in cassava. You have priority, because every local government in Edo, for instance, can do what they call it, cassava. But you can now say, okay, let us prioritize each of these local government. What is their best in the terms of classification of production of commodity? Now, each of these local government, prioritize them. And then every council, let's face it, even if you say you are going to be deploying just 1,000 hectares for agriculture, strictly speaking, on that commodity, imagine that you are doing that for the 18 local governments. You are going to have 18,000 hectares. You can do them in small clusters. You can organize agriculture in terms of which we call is the best project now, aggregation. You aggregate small farmers, put them in small clusters, call it cooperative and all of that, and then let it be local government driven. Council must face it and drive it, because that should give them their benefit. There's so much return in agriculture. There's so much money in agriculture. And we're just playing games with it and telling ourselves stories. If we do that, then we can now, at that level of local government, you can now organize it. It's not going to be too large for you to coordinate. You have a small coordination, step by step, local government. If you have in Edo, for instance, 18 local governments, each local government wake up to its responsibility and is doing its job with the state government. I'm not sure we're going to be talking about food insecurity in the next 1 year.
All right, so
Am I
food
communicating?
storage is also an issue when we talk about food availability in Edo State and perhaps in Nigeria. Now, I only saw the rice silos, that's what they call them. I read about them in the books in school. I never saw one in reality one day. Now, storage of food is an issue. So whose responsibility it is? Should it be the responsibility of the farmers? Or if you say it is the responsibility of the government, how should they come in, in that
Now,
direction?
beautiful. And yeah, I wanted to get there, but I will tell you this for free: that if you have commodities by local governments, now the facilities required to keep those commodities to run become part of your packaging in agriculture. Agri is not done in isolation. It's a collective. The storage facility, that's what we call the value chain. Now, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with asking for NIM. To know who you are feeding, you must know that the person is in Nigeria and the person lives in your country. Anybody living in Nigeria have a right to enjoy Nigerian benefit, and that's why he's living in Nigeria. So I do not think that that's an issue. I think the issue is that let us first of all face production. If we can produce, people can eat. They believe this is a story of it's not in Nigeria, it's in Nigerian, you get an NIM, doesn't even arise at all. Face the arrangement. Like I said earlier today, that's why I said we keep giving reasons why we're not making sense. Leave the NIM matter. NIM is normal. Anybody living in Nigeria, Nigerians must know who they are. We must know who is living in Nigeria. And so for me, whoever lives in Nigeria, whether Nigeria or not Nigerian, also have a right to eat and live well in the country. And what gives us comfort as a people is our ability to be able to provide for whoever lives here, all of us, and whoever lives with us. Don't forget that Africans are not people who select who they feed. In our private and communal life, we consider everybody as part of our system. Everybody is our brother. We do not select who comes and who goes out. You come in, you eat, and you go. And that gives you all the pride. And that can even attract great investors to come because the population of Nigeria is surging. First and foremost, you see, when you have your food source identified and you're able to keep that food source clearly defined, you can now do what we call usually certification of those food, certification of the food. That's why I said today, I said, if we give it for low government take their priority, we can do certification of food. Now we're able to monitor where the food comes from. We're able to monitor the quality of food. We're able to monitor what are the bacterial content of that area. Is that food bacterial free, or is it that the food was produced from a wrong position, or what is the head value of this food? Now, if you know the source, all of this you can address, and which means that we can now know the source of our food. We cannot be guaranteed that this food we are eating is not toxic. Today, I was saying today, I said, what we realize is that this importation thing, we don't even know where the food are coming from. Sometimes you import this food, some of them are already terrible at the level of the storage. They have gone bad, and they will ship them into Nigeria. Nigerian people will buy them and go and rewash the rice that are already carrying molds, and then rebag them and bring them to us to buy. And we say when we are clapping that we are eating what they call it foreign food and foreign whatever. For me, that doesn't make sense to me at all. So I think very clearly, if we must get it right, from the point I said today, I said let us take council by council. Nigeria has 744 councils, or in Edo we have 18 local government councils. Each council will know the quality content, the material required for each of these areas to survive. So we needed to do that, working by council and say, okay, local government A, you are producing cassava. Local government B, the priority is producing rice. Local government C, you are doing corn. All of those things, we can now focus and spend money and know where our money goes to and know where our values are coming from. So that if you know the source of your raw material, you're able to control the infestation or the disease level, or you're able to identify where that thing came from, what is wrong with it, how did it get to that infestation.
Okay. All right. So, Bashir Kadi, we want to say thank you for finding time to join us on the show today, this morning on ITV. I understand that you're in Abuja on official capacity. So please do take the message to the president, for us from Edo State, that Nigerians are hungry. Bashir.